Oh, Popper. Hello. Don't know if we're streaming yet. I think we are. Oh, yeah. Gonna be doing some more drawing. This is gonna be a really boring one again. Man, I finished the line work on this guy, but doing the masking has been an extremely slow process because I can't really use the selection tool to do it. It's drawn so small. I made that mistake. I mean, I don't know. It's drawn the same size as the characters themselves. And, most of the NPCs, basically what size it'll be in game. But that's a horrible idea because it makes it very difficult to fill anything in and color it, especially with the anti-aliasing on it. I'm gonna make sure. There's a couple more I have to do. There's when I do the Bandit Warlord, when I do the two bosses, of course when I do the bosses, but anything else that's small that needs to be drawn, I need to make sure that I just go ahead and blow it up, even if it's based off of something that's small, like the Were-Raptor. I need to blow it up to a large size, draw it, and then shrink it back down and match the size. I think that's a much better solution than trying to draw like this, because this sucks. And I really need to get it in my head, because I knew that before I started this. I even said somewhere in the beginning that this is going to suck to mask, but really underestimating how bad it's been. But anyway, let's draw. So I haven't gotten too far either. I've done the idol. It'll look like this. Of course, you can't really see it, but there's two different masks. There's the one on bottom that we're seeing here, and that one's just for the skin, which is funny because the only places you can actually see skin on this character is here, here, here. He's a little bit here, and then there's some on the foot here. Yeah, a little bit down there. Everything else is actually clothing. So yeah, when I hide this, actually this was a better way to see this. That's the stuff that is clothing. Oh, and the tail. I forgot about it. So yeah, I've got to mask the skin twice, but the second time I can't even use the select tool to do. But even the first time, well, we'll see here in a second. It doesn't. The selection tool doesn't grab it very well. It'll, like, despite how I do it, whether I grab it and just go ahead and fill it in where it is, or if I grab it and expand it one and fill it in, it's either going to put some color on the outside of the lines or the inside of the lines in some way that I don't want. So to fix that, I have to go and manually fix it, basically. Right, so that is on. We can turn that off. I'm doing something a little different so to make this a little simpler. It's not that much better, but alright. So first thing I need to do is pick a particular piece, like we're going to do the top half right here. Go through every single one and find any errant pixels, and usually they get into these places where it gets pointy or sharp. I wasn't going to stream this at all, but the thing is that I've got this new rule that I want to stream at least once every 3 days, just to make sure I don't stop. I don't know. I'm doing okay. But yeah, I figure I'll go ahead and stream. It doesn't matter that much. This is gonna be a very nothing stream though. It's just, I don't find this interesting at all. It's just tedious. And you're not really gonna learn much from it. This is the lame part of animating sprites, where you have to make them look really clean before you put them in game. Did I go through the whole thing just then? Or did I not start at 1? I was talking, I was distracted. I guess I went through the whole thing. Okay, cool. Let's look at the bottom. Okay, so usually the toes or where the legs meet. I'll do the tail later. Let's just look at those things first. And there's the occasional spot, like right here. There's the occasional spot where there's supposed to be some transparency that I just skipped over because it's too small. We'll do this for a little while, I guess. Like, there's no way I'll finish this on stream, I don't think. I might be able to finish it today. It's been very slow, like I said. Like, a lot of this I have to marker in. There's just no better way to do it. The fill tool, it's so small at this size, and there's so much like anti-aliasing on this stuff that the fill tool, it tends to just like put it on the outside, or it doesn't fully fill in the inside. So it's better to just marker everything to be sure I don't have to go back and fix anything. Go back to 1. Go up here where the tail is and just look at it. It doesn't do too bad. I think we went through the whole thing. I mean, the end of the tail should be fine. So the issue here now, it's hard to see. Like, you can't even see it here. But if I was to do something like this, there's a little bit right in here. It's very difficult to see. Just look at like the very top of the tail where these transparent pixels, it's just an offshade of the red that I'm using. It's around the whole thing because it didn't fill in the whole thing. Basically, my selection tool filled in right about here. Right. No. Minus that one. Yeah, it filled in like that, but really I needed it to fill one below for this one. Alright, so I needed an additional pixel here. Oops, that was the wrong way. Either way, you kind of get the point. But I say that, in certain areas it'll be just the opposite too. To where if I filled in an additional pixel, it would be on the outside of the black line. The black line is what transparency we're seeing there. But because it would just, I gotta go through this. Basically all the areas that have skin, I'm going to have to fill in this little bit very carefully to make sure that the color is in the black line but isn't bleeding outside the black line. So that's something that takes a long time, but I found it's actually easier if I go ahead and do the clothing next. That way I can see, if after I do the clothing, it's easier to see the skin ones that get left behind. So I'll come back to that later. Ooh. My throat's all messed up. Haven't talked in 3 days, so I guess that would be why. 3 or 2 days. Alright, so yeah, not really an easier way to do this. I could try filling it. I have to set this as a reference layer. Yeah, see, it just kind of like It bleeds outside the black line a little too much if you use fill tool. Even if I set that to be lower, it's, I think it's just at this certain level where it's better if I just marker it in custom like, because I can get it just perfect and I pay attention to everything. Like that. Takes a long time, but it gets done right the first time. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing, is I'm filling in every single little bit by hand, manually. Now if this thing was blowed up to be bigger, the outline would be bigger, and the fill tool and the selection tool would have worked a lot better. So that's kind of like what I meant when I say it should be blowed up. If I were to blow it up right now, it would ruin the line work. And then when I try to shrink it down, I mean, if it didn't ruin the line work blowing it up, it would shrinking it back down. So, I don't know, just this one, I just gotta do it the hard way. Luckily, once I get this masking done, I mean, the other parts aren't that hard. I'm just gonna shade it and color it. I mean, coloring is gonna be really hard on this one too, because it's got all these little triangles and squares. Like the shirt's got a different pattern. This skirt thing's got a different pattern on it. It's just, this is a very tedious one. And it's tedious in a new way that the War Beast was not. War Beast was just an old, I mean, it kind of had some of these elements with the armor, but it had a lot of animations and stuff too. I don't know if I'm a little sick. I might be. I don't usually get sick. Or at least I don't get sick enough that it impairs me very much. Like, I've never gotten bedridden, unless I was a teenager. It happened once. I was in bed, and I just could not move for... It felt like, I think it was like 2 weeks straight. I don't remember what I had. It was the worst I've ever been sick. But since then, I don't get sick that often. Like, I might get some sick symptoms. But then it's hard to tell if, you know, the difference between, when it's that easy, with that light, it's hard to tell the difference between that and just allergies too. I get really bad allergies. I think I'm a little sick though. I think when I get really sick, I start getting really bad headaches. And if I'm not getting that, then I'm fine. Or really bad fever. So that's the thing I don't get from sickness anymore. I can't think of the last time I was so sick that I had like a horrible headache or a horrible like stomach ache, really bad fever. That kind of thing I haven't gotten since I was a kid. But I do get sniffly and sneezy every now and then. Honestly, I could save time just mark. Yeah. Maybe I do that. If I do the outsides and then fill in the insides, that might speed this up a bit. Because the fill tool really sucks on the outside lines. But the inside it does good. Of course, where all this line is, that's not really going to work. It's only going to work for the big parts, like the chest. I've been thinking, I really am doing like a very long development time. How long I've been working on this? Like, I don't know. It's kind of difficult to say because I spend so much time not working on it too. Like, if you want to use the hard way, you say it's been 5 years. That's not quite true. Like, there's a period when I started it 5 years ago, but then I didn't really touch it for half a year. And then I had to take multiple, when I go to work, I can't work on it. I had to take multiple breaks like that. And then there's a couple burnouts I had. There's probably like 2 years subtracted from all that, but it's still 3 years. Even if I, am being very lenient. I don't know if that's quite right. I feel like it's somewhere in the between 2 and 3 years of development. It's not like I haven't really been working on it like I am now. I've done some like I am now. Well, okay, that's not true at all. I haven't treated it like a job, I guess is the way to say. I've definitely worked on it like I am now. But now I'm treating it like, no, this is my job. I have to do it every day. And that's kind of how I'm thinking about it now. That was one, by the way. One chest. But, I don't know. Like, 3 years is a long time. But then, I don't know. That guy from the Indie Dev movie, he said something like, I think it was Grand Theft Auto was 1,000 people over 5 years to make that game. But when you're an indie, it's gonna take a long time. And I've still got a long way to go, especially how long this is taking. I don't know, I just didn't think that these few new things were going to take this long. I don't think the new ones that I did are. This is just the first new one that I said I was going to do. It's not actually all the other stuff. Honestly, the original stuff I would have been doing the skeletons when I started the War Beast, and that would have been the end of it. All this new stuff wouldn't be there. I am wondering if I should take a break from this and start adding or start doing coding or something. There's actually a couple creatures, or a couple like the NPC enemies. I never even did the coding for them. So, there's a lot of monsters that need to be coded now. There's a lot of coding stuff to do. I find coding is something it's, I don't know, kind of worrying me, and I don't know why, because I don't have any hang-ups when it comes to like coding Goba, for instance, or any other thing. Anything smaller, I can start a project from scratch, no problem. But diving into my old code, yeah, diving into my old code, it feels more daunting when it really isn't. Like, that's just a weird logic thing. I don't know, it might be important to do something like that to keep from, or, yeah, just to add variety to what I'm doing. Oops. But I kind of want to do it. I like doing things in chunks. I don't know. I like doing things in order. I find taking like a break from doing something that I'm already into just never feels like the right choice. I've gone outside the lines again. I do look forward to doing these new monsters using what I've learned. There's a couple monsters I want to revisit, the ones that I don't think came out very good, and fix them too. I think I can do it better. Gotta do the selection marker. There's a lot of things to do when it comes to coding. As soon as I get done with these things, we've been doing this for months now, right? Did I finish this? Yeah. What, did I just marker that all in without thinking about it, or did I actually fill it in? I'm afraid I'm gonna put these in game and they're gonna look all screwed up too. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this by hand, is I feel like it's less likely to happen if I do it by hand, or if I do it like this. If I use too much selection tool, I'd put it in game. Like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but this black outline is not solid. Like, the majority of it is transparent, right? You see how you can see like the blue underneath the black right here in the middle, right in the center. There's just some, the black isn't purely transparent, right? That's part of the anti-aliasing. So if I was to draw this red right out to the edge like this, and then this red right out to the edge like this. The blue underneath would still come through. You'd still see like his skin color underneath, and it would look weird. So this has gotta, well, actually for this one, this is a good example. The arms on this side, the clothes on this side. So I need to have the red just slightly get into that outline. And then the blue, basically, like the black outline's more of a highlight at this point. It's more like a shading kind of thing. So, yeah, my color has to line up just right. And that's even worse when you think of the outside. Because the outside, if even if a couple pixels in here were not colored in enough, you'd see that black outline, and then you'd see changing color pixels where the background is coming through. And it would look very unusual. That's the worst case scenario, is I don't color enough towards the outside. So, yeah, my color has to be just slightly underneath the black outline. Basically, underneath the darkest part of the black outline, like here. Any of this stuff that gets lighter is going to look a little weird. I even have like a little bit of red here. But usually, like, there's some transparency on the red, so that's only like a very little bit of red too. I don't have to do it like pixel by pixel, but I should just be able to get it pretty close by doing it this way. But that's kind of the danger I have. And again, it's hard to, I don't know, talk about, or it's hard to explain here. But if you ever saw it in game, you'd be like, you'd understand. Like, if any of those little issues becomes very obvious when it's in motion. Let's hope I've learned my lesson this time. And I don't ever do it like this, like ever. Oh well. It's easy to say while you're working on it, but after you're done with it, you kind of forget about it too. It's like it really is only a few days of doing this, like in the grand scheme of things. Honestly, a lot of this work is all due to me wanting to have color changing skin on these enemies. That was a heck of a decision a long while ago. I think it's still a great thing that, you know, they come in a variety of colors. But man, does it take a long time or a lot of work to implement that. These are going to get easier the further along I get. Well, I think so. The death animations are like 6 or... Honestly, not really. Like that's 8 frames, 6 frames, 6 frames. There's a couple easier ones, but then that one's 7, 6, 4. Alright, never mind. I take it back. They're all going to be... I mean, there's not too many 8s, at least. No, I think this is the last 8. So this is the worst of them. No, it isn't. The Sikkim was the worst of them. That was 11. That's why that one felt like so long. Well, there's still a lot of frames to go. So yeah, right now I'm just focusing on the boots or the feet, and then I'll do the midsection last. It's kind of the pattern that I've built up here, just to break it into little pieces. Well, apparently Fallout released a big mod, or Fallout New Vegas, there's a big mod for it. I didn't play it. Actually, I didn't play much of New Vegas at all. It always like, I had so many problems crashing that I just never picked it up. But I have watched playthroughs of it, so I guess I got to experience it that way. But yeah, this mod has had a lot of controversy, and for good reason. I don't know what the hell. I mean, it's a bunch of people, right? It's kind of hard to say where it went wrong, but the gist of it is somebody who was working on the mod, because it's a very large mod. It's basically like a new game. It's bigger than most of the expansions. It's very impressive, and they did some really cool stuff like driving vehicles, uh, climbing ladders, which I think was something that Todd Howard was like, "Oh no, we can't make ladders work in Fallout," and then somebody, of course, mods it and says, "There it is, it works." So yeah, the vehicles, it looked good. Like they did a good job, but one of them added some like really cringy sexual stuff to it, like some really cringy stuff, like real neckbeard stuff. Of course, that got on people's nerves because, like I saw, the way it comes about is just completely like it sidelines you too. You don't expect it in this mod, and then all of a sudden you run into a character and it's like, would you like to put a slave collar on this character? And there's some weird Asian hybrid. Like, oh my god, it is weird. And then there's like a lot of like pedophile stuff too. I don't know what happened. It's a funny, I don't know, it's a funny circumstance though to look at. I feel like it was one or two people that are responsible for adding that into it, and it just, everything else that's good about the mod has been completely trashed by those people. I think it's been completely taken down too. Like it sounded like whoever was in charge was just going to remove it all, which that's what I would figure. But I think it's gotten so much like hate that they just, it's gone. We're done with it. Oh well. I doubt they'll go to that extent. I mean, that's a lot of work to put on a mod thing to let it get ruined like that. And it really was good, what I've seen of it. Like, the vehicle stuff actually looked very well done. Having, like, vehicles in Fallout. They had a really good, like, physics to them. Even though, you know, it wasn't perfect. It would get really weird going down hills and stuff. The story pacing that I saw was pretty bad. I don't know. It was very slow, I think is the way to say. Though it did look good. Like, I don't know. Seemed a bit juvenile. Like trying to be edgy for edgy's sake. Honestly, now I look at that and I'm like, how do I make sure I avoid that with mine? I haven't really thought about that. But am I being too edgy now? I don't think so. But it's a trap that you could get fall into, especially if you don't think about it, which I haven't thought about it until now. I've not done anything like violent for just violence sake outside of death animations, which are more like a reward in my book, like a ultra violent death. And like the player has to seek out a death, right? The only time that there's a death, okay, never mind. There's two times. There's a death that's forced on the player. That's when the worshiper dies. But I wanted The idea of that is the worshiper is kind of like your tutorial in the beginning of the game. So when he gets eaten, that's basically saying, yeah, like, tutorial's over. There's no more guidance. Figure it out yourself. Because we eat the tutorial, which I think is just kind of funny. Also, that was kind of to show that the world is very dangerous and death could come at any time for these people living here. I don't think that's too... I don't know. I think that's fine. The other one is everybody that's in a crystal in the crystal crater is supposed to be dead. Or, yeah, with beyond saving. Like most of the people you can save, well, a lot of people you can save that are outside of the crater. But when you get to the crater, everybody that you see, or every crystal that you see, is just a dead person. But that was supposed to be like to show how bad the main villain of the game is and why it has to be stopped. It's a villain that's against life in general, right? And if you don't stop it, this is going to happen to all the characters that you've saved up to now, or that you've been seeing in town. They're all at risk. That's why you have to stop this thing. I think it's fine. I don't think I'm doing anything too weird. And the pacing of my game is definitely on the fast side. There's never... I think the longest events are when you take the town. Most of it is optional or very quick. It's done in like a couple seconds. It'll show you something that's going on, and more of it's just show don't tell. So I think I'm fine when it comes to a lot of that, or when it comes to pacing. I mean, pacing's a hard thing to pull off in general. I do worry I need some more variety. That is something I am lacking. If you think about, there's a gameplay loop that I'll have. Like, I haven't really thought about it because I haven't played the gameplay loop to notice this, but just thinking about other games. There's a gameplay loop of kill stuff, and then clear an area, go back to town, heal for a bit, and then go to a new area. Mostly just fighting stuff or avoiding stuff. There's nothing to like break that up though. Like, there's no mini games. There's different things to find. But yeah, there's no like gameplay. There's no way of breaking up the gameplay like that. I mean, there's talking to villagers. That's that's a different thing, right? Trying to find or learn more about the world just by talking to the people in town. That's kind of a different thing. You could say exploration is its own gameplay, like, its own thing. Sometimes you're just fighting through stuff. I mean, sometimes you do it at the same time, too. I don't know what I would add to like. I mean, going back to Castlevania and comparing myself to it, I'm not doing anything differently from what that game had. It didn't have any like additional gameplay stuff. I guess occasionally you'll go into your menu to read item lore. I mean, but that's nothing. I know a mini game would be scope creep too. That's something new to add, but I'd like to think about it because maybe I can think of something very simple to help break up what you're doing in the game. And the first thing that comes to mind is fishing. I don't know if I would do traditional fishing. I feel like the lizard men, it would be more like spear fishing. But that comes with like new animations and stuff. That's too much.
Well, I heard this once, and it might be true. That home is with you, wherever you may go, wherever you may go.
You could use something to do with the god. This guy looks like Spider-Man right now with the bright blue and red. Just notice that. It's not actually this color. It's just the to make it easier to see. It's actually gray, but it looks red because that's easier. Yeah, like I said, easier to see, easier to tell what I'm doing. Okay, well, there is something with like, well, no, that doesn't really count. I'm thinking like an actual gameplay change, something, yeah, like it's got to be something like a mini game or something that's completely different from everything else. So that if somebody gets burnt out on the normal gameplay loop, they do the mini game for a little while, right? And then they go back to what they're doing. It's a good idea. You see it in RPGs a lot because it gives you a chance to take a breather from the normal gameplay loop and do something different. Like if you were constantly just battling and moving from story point to story point with never like nothing changing. That's why RPG started adding these mini games so that the gameplay was less monotonous and you can keep a player playing the game for a very long time without stopping because you get little mini breaks of something else. Like Final Fantasy IX had its card game thing. Final Fantasy VII's got a ton of different mini games. And a lot of them are like replayable at the Golden Saucer. Breath of Fire's got fishing. Got a few little things every now and then. Cutting wood. It's an idea worth considering. I need to find the right one. At this point, it's got to be very easy to implement. Basically, if I could use animation that I've got and just do it through coding would be best. I don't want to animate anything new for it. Like fishing does seem like the way to go. I might have to draw like some new fish and some sort of like UI for the fishing. But basically just put little fishing points around the map. But then there has to be a reward for it. Like, why do you fish? What do the fish do? You know, why would you stop to fish? and I don't really have anything for that. That really like removes that for any reason to do it. I mean, sometimes it's okay to just say you fish for the sake of, you know, getting like high scores and things. Like that can be its own reward, which just fish so that you can catch every fish for the completionist. I feel like the reward would be like a special set of armor or special weapon at the end of it, which is more animation. I don't know. I don't like it. You know what? No, I think this is fine. I was about to say, I color in so much, why don't I just copy the blue part and erase the skin part out of it? But then, I don't know if that would be better or worse. It might actually be the smarter thing to do because it's less work. There's more cloth than there is skin. So technically it would be easier to work backwards. It's just, I did the skin part with the selection tool and it doesn't grab quite as well. He only does that whining when I'm at this table. Like if I was laying in the bed watching YouTube, he wouldn't care. It's just the fact that she doesn't get to interact with me at all. It bothers her. Too high. Maybe we'll try the next one doing it backwards. It might be easier. Oh, I think I figured out why my dog doesn't like certain dog food. I was looking at the bag because I found it very weird. Like, it doesn't. God damn. Despite, um, despite it being like a different size, I thought it was the same. It was like the same flavors she always gets, but the one that she doesn't like, it turns out was like some sort of diet dog food, which I didn't even know was a thing. But yeah, it says something like, um, I don't know exactly. It's something for older dogs, and I think, um, yeah, that's probably why she doesn't like it. Even though it's the same, like, flavor, that's what it says. Apparently, it is not though, because my dog really does not like it and tries not to eat it, which I don't think is a good thing. But it was also really expensive. And it's not like it's unhealthy for her. So I'm going to have to, like, I don't know, mix it into other food just so she'll eat it. So I'll get my money's worth out of it. She's gone through like half of it too. So I'll just be careful not to accidentally buy that again. My face is just falling apart right now. It's a horrible time to stream, I guess. I don't know. Probably shouldn't have streamed today. I probably should have just done all this and just start streaming when we do coloring or something. I mean, I could always just not upload this to YouTube. I think I need to consider that more. Like, the whole point of uploading things to YouTube is so that the VODs don't get deleted. But there's a lot of VODs that really should just get deleted. Like, do I really want to save this kind of content? I don't think anyone would want to watch this. Like, some of the other ones, I could see a little value in. Maybe someone wanting to come watch it later on. But things like this, I don't think anyone would ever want to watch. Like, I don't even want to do it. And I'm stuck doing it. I think I will upload this one just because I'm doing it. But I will... Maybe I'll start doing some streams, because I like doing the streams. But we'll do them just as streams and with no plan to upload. So, some stuff just won't be on YouTube. The really boring shit like this. I could start doing some editing to where I condense down what happens on these streams to just the relevant bits. I'm looking at this. What the hell's going on here? There's like an extra line here. And I don't know why it's here. Go take a look. What happened here? Oh, I see. That was supposed to be, there's supposed to be a line there. And this is supposed to be empty. Okay. I can fix that. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. You know what I could do? We could say fishing is the way you leveled up the animal companion. Jesus fuck, what is up with my throat right now? Okay, let's hope that cleared it out. It's just it keeps closing. Right, what was I saying? Yeah, I could use fishing as a way of leveling up the animal companion. So, like, only the champion can fish. That would make things easier. Yeah, a lot of the food that you pull out of the water, yeah, it's just like a buff for the animal companion to make it stronger. And I put different fishing points throughout the map. Like, I've already figured out there's a lot of different places for water. And there's already, like, a lot of fish are going to be drawn. So, not too different with that. If I use existing animations, I might be able to add fishing pretty easily. Like if we do basic, like, you know, with the stick fishing. With a fishing rod. That would give you a reason to fish or a reason to stop and do something else. As a way to level up the pet. And it provides a necessary change in the gameplay loop. And if I add, like, okay, so we have that as the reason to catch, like, new fish. And then we can just add like sizes, random chance to get certain sizes. Maybe make it to where you have to get a certain size for it to actually, like, I don't know, give a buff. So you gotta catch like a certain size of each type of fish to buff up the war beast. Okay, I think that part's done. Now we gotta go back to here, turn this on, and then fill in like all the tail here. This is just to make sure it gets inside of the line. It's really easy to accidentally go on the other side of the line while doing this because you can't really see it. So I'll have to go in after this and just check it as well. So when I say I should never do this, this is why. Because there's a lot of cleanup. Honestly, I think about it, this isn't necessary. I'm just going to expand the line back out. Because it's only, like, the skin revealed areas, what I'm fixing here, there's not many of them. Most of it's clothing. Like, usually it's the opposite. The skin part is the majority, and the clothing part is the minority. So I'm gonna finish this one this way, but I'm gonna think about how I do the next ones, because I think there's a better way to do this. I'm definitely going outside the line sometime here. But honestly, here's a really good example of what I'm talking about. Well, you're not going to be able to see it well, but like in here, this is the waist, right? In through here's the waist that is not being clothed, that was showing up here. So not as bad. It's actually a smaller bit. But yeah, the difference between what the clothing ones look like, where it's completely filled into the black line, and then this bit that is not filled all the way in, you'll be able to see that in game when it's in motion, when it's on a background. So that's something I've got to correct for. I definitely screwed this one up. That's cool. I'll go and clean it all up on the second pass. Basically, just making sure that the blue is on the inside of the black line and not on the outside. But it has to be fully on the inside too. Oh yeah, I think there's a better way to do this. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. I'm still going to have to do a lot of this, but I think it'll save me this step right here. And that's quite a big amount. Like, it's worth doing if I can do it. Alright, the arms are the next big one, and then the head. Try and be real careful this time. I'll do the head on another pass. Another thing I'm thinking about now, I'm starting to wonder, how controversial is it the fact that I didn't give my women, they don't have breasts. Like, it makes sense to me, but I also have them like they don't wear shirts all the time. But that just seemed natural to me. But now that I think about it, like, is that going to cause any controversy? Like, oh my god, his women all walk around topless. Like, well, yeah, they don't have boobs. They're lizards. Like, that makes a lot of sense to me, but not everybody's going to see it that way. But to be fair, my men show a lot of skin too. It's across the board. So I think that's fair, right? I think it's not that big a deal. I'm gonna have to die on that hill though, basically. Alright, let's see what I screwed up. Better to start at 1. But you know what I did? I do. My female characters got just as much armor as the male characters. Which is the way it's supposed to be. Oh, okay, I'm on the wrong one. Honestly, I'd see it the other way around. I think if I made all the females like breasted, that would be even worse. I don't know, just in my opinion. Like, I'm really selling them as they're their own race. Like, all the milk is prepackaged in the egg. I've got it to where it's a communal sort of, what is it? Communal raising? Basically, one person raises all children was my idea. Because it's more of a, I don't know, it's a dangerous world. Basically, they have a roost where all the eggs go. And one person's in charge of it. Usually a very unfortunate teenager is taking care of all those kids. Until they get old enough that they're basically just on their own. They become self-sufficient at a much lower age. So I do it in a very different way than humans. Because I think it's interesting, right? And it's another thing that you can kind of learn just by watching them. Okay, I think that's it. So that was 1 hour and a half to do all that. But it should look good. I should not have to like revisit it later, right? That's the important part. I don't want to have to redo any of this stuff or fix it later. So I think it's good the first time if I do it the long way. I really don't like this run animation. Okay. I'm going to try something different with the attack. Let's see, real quick, if there's a better way to go about this. So basically, I'd have to erase what I've already gotten, which is unfortunate, but here we go. Okay, so all of that's gone. Set this as a reference. So let's just do this. We'll color without expanding the line. I think that's the way I'm going to do this. Okay, but not like that. We still got to invert it. But don't deselect it, invert it, fill it. There we go. See, the issue that this usually has is more stuff leaks outside, like outside the fingers there. It gets outside the line more often. Like, especially in the corners, it's even way worse. But at least this way I know that it's inside of the line too, of our outline. So I think it is better to just erase carefully what's on the outside and do it only once instead of doing it twice to fill it back in. Because even if I expanded it by 1 pixel, it's going to be just the opposite. It's going to be what we had before. So I'm going to try it this way. We'll do it for just 1. How about that? And see if it's better or not, instead of doing it for everything. So invert, fill. I'm also going to try erasing armor instead of adding it, because I think that'll be faster too. So I clean up this first one and make it look really good, and then copy it. And I think that'll be a better approach. Okay, so we've got that. Let's bring these up. Alright, now we're gonna clean this up. Man, look at it. It's just... it bleeds outside. Like, I'll make it really obvious. It bleeds on the outside of the line just too much this way. Like, I can't win. It's either one way or the other. It's gonna be. So now I've got to, like, erase on the outside outline for the whole thing. Because the other way I was doing it was just expanding by 1 pixel and then filling. That 1 pixel, I don't know, it just, where it's at is not consistent. But this still might be faster. Going, like, tracing the whole damn thing might still be faster than doing it the other way. This is a lot of work. I don't know. Again, the best solution for this is to draw it big and then shrink. Never draw small, or you have to do crap like this to fix it. Like, that's really where I went wrong. Now I'm just trying to find the best way to fix what I've screwed up. No, this doesn't really feel much better. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, this is a lot of work to do one frame. That was one frame. No, that doesn't feel right. That took forever. It is nice that you get to, oh yeah, that's not done yet. I need to do this part too. Okay, now that's one frame done. Working. Okay, I'm about to commit a sin by not being consistent, but let's try it the old-fashioned way for the rest of this. Oh, right. And yeah, undid this one on accident. There we go. Let's try it the old way. And just see what the difference is. So this is going to expand by 1 pixel and then fill it. What was supposed to? Oh, I see why. Because I don't have color selected. All right, one more. Bam. Okay, so we have 2 different styles right here. Now this style still requires some work and going in, clearing out the outsides, but the lines look better, right? There's none of that bleeding outside the line. But just the opposite, you can see it in the toes really good. The blue does not fill it all the way out, right? Like, see how there's, let me zoom in. I know it's hard to see from your angle. But yeah, look at the way the toes change between these 2 frames. Like, the way it's supposed to be is what's on one. Or the one that's filled in more. And it's going to be like that throughout the entire thing, right? I don't know why I have to erase some if I don't expand it, but if I do expand it, it goes too far. It seems like it expands by 2 pixels, honestly, just looking at it. So now they're just not going to match. And I'll still have to fill them all out later. Honestly, I'm back to what I was at before, where maybe it is better to just erase everything. Quit. Because at least the inside's filled out good now. And you can see it even more if I do this. Yeah, see the difference? Like, even in the back here, a lot of that will show in the final thing, because all of those, it looks like a darker red, but it's really a more transparent red, right? So like, if the background changed colors, a lot, it's going to be very obvious seeing the difference between both of those. Like, that's the problem. It's better if it's like this one, completely filled in. You're not going to see it. It's not going to be inside the lines. That's the issue. And yeah, even after doing all that, I'm going to clear this again. We'll go do it the old way, because, or we'll do it this way. I still think it's going to be worth it. Yeah, it wasn't really that big of an issue when I was just doing the tail and the head, but now I want to do the whole thing so that I can just copy the mask into the new one and erase the parts that's not supposed to be there, which I think will be faster than trying to fill in all the armor by hand. So this part's going to take more time, but hopefully saves me time in the armor part. Honestly, what's best? It's hard to tell. It's so close. You're kind of like splitting hairs or whatever. Trying to get a more efficient process. There's no, like I said, the correct answer is to draw bigger. Do not draw small. Learn from this one. Me. I need to learn from this and not do this ever again. Always draw big. Do not draw to scale. It never is worth it. Honestly, I was thinking about it. The other thing that this has the danger of doing is, like on the foot here, I've kind of already screwed up on doing this because the foot doesn't change. So all the color that's inside of it needs to remain consistent as well. So I think what I need to do is copy this, combine it back into one, okay, now one looks like what the other ones look like, and now we use the ellipse tool to do this instead. Now it stays consistent. I gotta be careful not to go inside the black line too. The big issue here is it's just very hard to tell the difference between... Stop! It's very hard to tell the difference between the gray of transparency and the gray of my background. Maybe this is going to be hard on the eyes, but we do something very different for this. Even then, you're looking at like, I don't know, a gray to green, or gray to purple. It's not that much better. Try it for a little while. Like, yeah, I can even see the blue now. Like with the gray, at least I could see the blue. That's no good. I'm starting to think this isn't going to work either. Just because the blue and red are going to be too close to each other now. At least before, with the blue being on the inside of the line, when I put the red over top of it, the blue doesn't show. But now, the color of the skin is going to bleed through into the color of the clothing, I think. Was this, oh yeah, it moves. I might end up having to redo this whole thing by the end. We'll see. I mean, it's gonna be like an hour sidetrack to try something new. But it might save me time, who knows? Good to see that hotkey work this time. We'll finish one more of these for this stream. We'll try it 2 different ways. I'll see which way I like more. So far, I'm not sure if this is the right thing to do, or if it's any better than the way I just did before. And after I do all this, I still gotta put the sword into the animations too. This is another long one. Okay. That should be that done. Right, so that took a long time, but hopefully this part is faster by taking that one out and bring it up here. Delete that one. Make it red. Right, so instead of drawing in all the armor, we're just going to erase. Yeah, that's fine. Will this be faster? Who knows? I think it is a little. This was kind of the whole point of doing this, is so that I could do this backwards. Just focus on the tail for now. The tail's like the biggest part as far as what's getting erased. I mean, I could use the fill tool to get a lot of this. Yeah, that's true. It's not going to get in the lines, but it will get like the meat of everything, so I should use the fill tool. I'll have to go back and erase along the lines. At least I don't have to erase everything. Okay. Now we do the feet. A little bit of skin here. Oh yeah, that's right. Let's undo this, because this foot does not move. I need to ellipse it. Alright, arms and face. I guess this is faster. I mean, okay, the last one, we had 2 extra frames to do. So this is going to be faster just because of that. But what, it was an hour and a half, so oh yeah, this will be done well before 3 hours. It should. I think it was overall faster. I don't even know if I attempted to make lines up here. I can't see them if I did. I think we'll assume that that little bit. I think I can see 2 lines there. Was part of the collar. Alright, is it easier here to just go ahead and erase the eye and draw it back in there? Because it's kind of in the way, and I'd have to go around it constantly, so screw it. We'll put the eye back in afterwards. I don't know, if it's easy to go around it, I will. I feel like it's easier to just go right through it for most of this, too. I mean, that one's fine. This one's confusing. I guess it's better if it's bare. Okay, well, that was quick. It only took me 45 minutes to do, right? Yeah. I mean, it was 2 less frames, but still, that's faster. Without a doubt, faster. I don't know how well it'll look. It looks okay from here. Like, with armor and without. It's just, the big thing is if blue showed up on the outside of the red, like red should be on top. And basically, yeah. Red is skin. Or red, not skin. Oh shit. Red is, clothing. So clothing should be on top of skin. You shouldn't see skin anywhere where there's clothing. I missed that little bit. Was that it? Did I miss any more? I guess I just forgot that. Yeah, so that's just the important bit, is to make sure the red's always on top of the blue. So that this part gets colored on its own, because this is separate from the skin. That one's ready for shading and coloring. On to the next one, which is rolling. Well, that'll be fun. I guess the last thing that I could try and do, instead of like erasing the whole lines, maybe I do it this way and fill in instead. I mean, either way, I'm tracing this whole guy. So, either I'm erasing from the outside or I'm filling in from the inside. Right. Honestly, I think it's better to erase. Because at least when I erase, I can see if like this way, if I'm filling in, I can accidentally go on the outside and I can't tell, you know, I mean, that's obvious, but I can't really tell if I've gone too far or not. When erasing, I've got this off so I can see if I've gone too far. So, I mean, kind of. Not really all the time either. I don't know. I think it's better to get rid of all this and just do it again. This definitely expands one. Right. I want to make sure it's not some other thing, but I'm pretty sure it's just how that works. Where's auto actions at? Let's see. Merge visible. No, that's not the right one. Grow and invert. So yeah, expansion with 1 pixel. Corner type. Alright. So yeah, I think it's better to just do it this way. I don't know if I'm on the inside or the outside right now. I'm on the outside. Invert. Fill. Yeah, there's no way. It's so weird. It seems like if you expanded 1 pixel, you wouldn't have to do this, but expanding 1 pixel just puts it on the other side, and then you have to do it the other way. And don't do that. What's this? This one's kind of confusing. It's gonna take a lot of editing because there's so many like tight spaces. The cool thing about tracing around the entire outside of it is that I find every single instance of like the pixels being where they're not supposed to be too, those little corners, because I'm going around all those corners at some point. Oh well, that one's not right. Yeah, I think this is the best way. I don't like going around it, but I mean, there's really no better choice. I'm just gonna have to do it. Trace the whole thing and erase. But at least this way, when I copy it into the armor, it's already good. Like, all of these little lines are where they're supposed to be. Maybe if I made the outline a different color. I don't know if that would help. I don't think so. No, it just makes it harder, actually. I'm trying everything. Everything I can think of to make this simple. And yeah, less likely to have errors. 'Cause yeah, like I say, the worst thing that could possibly happen is I finish this and I put it in game and then I see that it's all still screwed up and I have to come fix it. That's the thing that I do not want to happen. It needs to be good on the first try. I think the biggest issue here, what's really screwed me up on all this, is I drew the champion to scale. That was where it screwed up. Like, everything else I was drawing large, but then I drew the champion, my player sprite. Because I had a sketch kind of player that I put in the game, so I knew the size it had to be, and I was just drawing over that. If I'd have just blown that up from the start, and drawn all my players, all my NPCs, everything at a large size, this would have never been an issue. It started there, and then yeah, it's like once the player's that size, well, let's use that to figure out, you know, what the other player sizes are, and what the NPC sizes are, and what the other lizard men. And it just, that was like the breaking, or the point that screwed everything up, or made it to where this has been a problem. If I'd have just blown that one up, a lot of this would have gone way smoother. Well, either way, this is what I'm going to be doing for the next day or two. And then I'm going to try and just go ahead and do the shading as well. And then when we do coloring, I might do another stream. But I'm not going to stream too much of this. I just don't, or at least I'm not going to put it on YouTube if I do stream it. So it's just a lot of monotony. It's not very interesting. It's annoying even to do it. So that's what my schedule's looking like. After this guy, we're doing skeletons, so that might be more interesting. And actually, I need to think now, do I want to blow the skeletons up? Because I have been drawing the skeletons. No, I drew the raptor. It was already very large. So I don't think it gave me any issues. But I should probably blow these guys up when I do my skeletons and not make this mistake again. I think I'm going to do that. And then we'll shrink them down to what size they're supposed to be in game later. That's a lot easier. So that's the plan going forward. But this stream is over. Later.